KWT slaying.
Salama family, Salama, how y'all doing today? Hope you're blessed and highly favored. So before we get started, I like for my moderators to block anyone or time them out who tells, who say, oh, I disagree with that. Oh, it's the Kalahari Desert. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. If they start with that, block them or put them in timeout. I don't care which one. I don't want to hear it. I mean, no matter how much evidence I come out with, they're gonna believe what they believe. And I don't mind if you disagree. That's your prerogative. But don't try to convince me, right? Because, y'all know how much research I've been doing. And I want to shout out to my brother Johnny. He put me onto this. And it's just a additional information with all of the information we've had previously. And just so that some things can sink in, because I know some people knew, we're gonna talk a little bit about some things that I see people always bring up, but obviously they don't listen to the show or watch the videos that I do concerning my position on where ancient Israel was and is, right? So let's get started. All right, we're going to go back to this, the boundaries, right? Genesis 15:18. In the same day, Yahuwah made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river Euphrates. Now, all right, so let's say, well, let me do it this way. Give me a one if you agree that the great river of Egypt is the Nile River. Give me a two if you don't know. Yeah, I think that's a bit self-evident, right? Because that's certain things we shouldn't have to argue about. I mean, really, if you have a two, and I'm not trying to be mean, if you have a two, you haven't done any research, right? I think even the scholars agree that the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. So I think even the scholars agree that the river of Egypt in this instance is the Nile River. So that's one thing. Okay, now the big problem here is the great river Euphrates. Most of you all agree with the current maps, and most of you all agree that the Euphrates is what they show on the current maps, which is why you're stuck in the Middle East in the false land with the dirt and the Dust Bowl, right? So I'm gonna go back to show you why I believe it's wrong, and there's many other reasons why. I mean, because we've talked about it before, and be honest with you, I really don't like repeating myself, but for the new people, sometimes you got to do that. But it really gets frustrating for them other people that come behind who heard the show. But I disagree. I disagree. Okay, that's fine. But we've talked about that the Gihon and the Pishon and all that stuff, right? The Great Four Rivers is obviously in Africa, right? Because it tells you that the Gihon is from it's in Africa. It's in Kush. It's in the Euphrates. So I mean, some stuff is like, to me, basic 101, But anyway, so let's continue here. Just to make my point, because that's not my only point. Like I say, I got so many videos on this, but I'm convinced, right? And nobody's gonna change my mind, right? Because I'm the one doing the research. All right, so we've talked about this before, right? And the name of this book, let me pull it up right quick. Where's my thing? It's called the hold on. I don't want to go to the back. I mean, to the beginning of it. Okay, let me go back. All right, pull it up. It's called the Encyclopedia of Missions. It's the Encyclopedia of Missions. I'm a little tired, y'all, so bear with me. It's called the Encyclopedia of Missions. Ewen Musel Bliss. All right. You can go to archive.org and get it. So, we've talked about this 100 times, but this is where I believe the true Euphrates is. Okay. So, Dahomey, a section of the slave coast, West Africa, between Little Popo and Porto Novo. It is now a Portuguese protectorate, though the king is still an absolute monarch. The chief city, Guida, Fida, Havida, Ida, was formerly called Judah, and its inhabitants were said to be Jews. Okay, while the river Alala, Ephra, was spoken of as the Euphrates. Now, other translations say that the scientists, or the scholars, that is, the scholars, other translations in other books, scholars say that it was called the Euphrates. Okay, so this book was in the 1500s. Okay, it was published in the 1500s. I think it's 1540 if let's see if my mind is right. Yeah, it's in the 1500s. Anyway, y'all could go validate that. Like I say, I'm tired. I don't know why all of a sudden the show is time for the show and I start getting tired. But anyway, the Alala River is in this area. What is this area? It's by the slave coast in West Africa. It's Little Popo, Porto Novo, right, which is near Togo. Okay, and so Ouida is in Benin, right? So this river, which was called Alala or Ephra, was also called the Euphrates. So when the scriptures talk about the great river Euphrates, right, from the Egyptian river, or the river of Egypt, to the great river Euphrates, it's Africa. All right, and I'm gonna make a point because I'm gonna show something, right? All right, so now some believe that I'm gonna share this right quick, but here's the deal. Okay, well, let me share it, then I'll talk about it. All right, so some believe that the Alala River is the Kwame River. So the Alala River, known in ancient times, is believed to be present-day Oume River in Benin. This river has historical significance, particularly in the context of the kingdom of Dahomey, an African kingdom that was located in the area of modern-day Benin. The Oume River was an important waterway for the kingdom, playing a crucial role in transportation, trade, cultural practices. Its historical name, Alala, is a testament to the rich and complex history. Now, some say this, but at the same time, because here's the thing, I went and tried to validate this, and ChatGPT says, okay, say that it was Alala River was the Oyume. But then you ask it again, because see, sometimes if you use ChatGPT, you got to go and validate some of the stuff it says, and then it'll tell you, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. And so the Alala River, we have the location. It is in Benin. Okay, it's in Ouida. It's in the west coast of Africa. We have those based upon the book that I just shared. So here we go. But I'm of the opinion that it is the Niger. Okay, I believe that the Niger River is what it's talking about, and not the Oyume. Now, here's where Oyume is right here. So if you with the agreement that it's the Oyume River in Benin, it's right here, right? Now, if you measure from Oyume in Benin to the Great River in Egypt, which is the Nile, it's 2,293 miles. So this would be the area given to our forefathers. So that would be from here, right, Benin, all the way to the Nile River here. Now, you also have the Blue Nile over here in Ethiopia. But if the location is from Benin, it's from Benin to the Nile, which would include everything underneath, right? So this is the horizontal length of the land that we own all the way down. Now, I believe that it is the Niger River. Now, let's look at that right quick. Okay, now notice the Niger River is still near that same area as Benin, this territory where the Alala River is. But if you notice, the Niger goes all the way around this area. And we're going to talk about this right quick, because when we look at Benin and we look at Ghana and this whole area, right, this was Judah, right? This was known as Judah, right? Not just in Benin or Judah. This whole area was under the kingdom of Judah, according to some of the other maps. So I believe that it is the Niger River, which is the Alala River, which is the great river Euphrates. So whether or not you believe it's the Oyume River in Benin, or you believe it is the Niger River, it's still the same area, okay? For the most part, right? Give or take a few areas, right? Now, why am I saying this? Because I want to share with you a map. It's a Harvard map. Presbytere Oyanis Civ Abyssorum Iperi Descriptor. This is Latin. So we had to translate this, right? And so this is 1527 to 1598. Origin is the Netherlands. Date is 1580. I might have had these things confused with the book, the date of the book, but y'all can validate that. But anyway, like I say, I'm tired. So here we have, it's a Harvard map. Now, this is very important because I want to show you something. Okay, it's all in Latin, right? All right, y'all see this section right here, right? It's in Latin. So let me show you what the translation says. And we're going to come back to the map and look at it. Okay, here's the translation. If you can see it, I'm going to make it bigger. David, the supreme of my kingdoms, uniquely beloved of God, the pillar of faith, born of the tribe of Judah, son of David, son of Solomon, son of the pillar of Zion, son of the seed of Jacob, son of the hand of Mary, son according to the flesh of Nahum, son according to grace of the saints Peter and Paul. Okay, now we're talking about David, right, on this map. He's the emperor of Upper and Greater Ethiopia, and of the vastest realms and territories of Kingor, Kaffa, Fatigar, Angat, Baru, Bali, Ade, Wange, Goime were the sources of the Nile. Amara, Bagamidri, Ambia, Vang, Tigre, the land of the Queen of Sheba, Bernagasi, and Lord up to Nubia, which extends into Egypt. The last line is called Niger Flu, translates to Black River. This likely a reference to the Niger River. So this is the area David ruled. Okay, this is what it says. Now you read what you want to it. I know some of y'all, it don't matter what kind of evidence I bring. Okay, but the Black River was the Niger River. All right, so let's go back to the map. So we go back to the map. Here's Niger Flu, right? The Niger River, right? And like I said, I believe this is the Alala River, which was called the Great River Euphrates. Now it says from the river of Egypt, which is over here, right? We saw the Nile all the way over to the Niger River. The area that's inclusive of the west coast of Africa, that's inclusive of Benin and Togo, right? Now, let me show you this. And we'll come, well, yeah, let me show you this and then we'll come back to that. All right. Now, here's some of the validated areas, all right? Goa. Goa is a state on the southwestern coast of India within the Konkan region, geographically separated from the Deccan Highlands by the Western Ghats. It is bounded by the Indian states of Maharashtra to the north and Karnataka to the east and south, with the Arabian Sea to the west. So Goa is in India. Now, we've talked about this in the past where, the Jews, or we call them Israelites, ruled parts of India. And we know about the Sidi that live in India. Now we have the Kaffa. Kaffa was a province on the southwestern side of Ethiopia. Its capital city was Bonga. It is bordered on the west by Sudan, on the northwest by Ulubabor, on the north by Walega, and on the northeast by Shiwa, on the east by Sidamo, and on the southeast by Gamu Gofa. Fatigar, the area known as Fatigar, is now part of modern Shiwa, southeast of Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. Angat was a historical province in northern Ethiopia, bordered on the west by Bonga and the Afar lowlands to the east and southwest, and Besil to the southwest and Lasta to the north. Baal, also known as Bali, is located in the southeastern part of modern Ethiopia. Amara, the modern equivalent, is the Amhara region in Ethiopia. Now, you see how much all of these areas that he ruled over is in Ethiopia. Now, it says here the locations of Baru, Ade, Wange, Goime, Bagamidri, Ambia, Vang, Tigre Mahon, and the land of the Queen of Sheba and Bernagasi were not immediately identifiable on the search. Now, Tigray Mahon, we know Tigray is in Ethiopia as well, right? It just couldn't find it. These names may have changed significantly over time, may refer to smaller historical regions not well documented in current resources, or it could be transliterations that differ from modern naming conventions. Now, let's go back here. So David, the supreme of my kingdoms, uniquely beloved of God, the pillar of faith, born of the tribe of Judah, son of David, son of Solomon, son of the pillar of Zion, son of the seed of Jacob, son of the hand of Mary, son according to the flesh of Nahum, son according to grace of the saints Peter and Paul, emperor of Upper and Greater Ethiopia. All right, I'm gonna go back to the other, the main map, but let's look at this right quick. Okay. Let's see if I can make this bigger. Okay. All right. Upper Ethiopia and Lower Ethiopia. You see that, right? All in Africa. Upper and Lower Ethiopia. So emperor, that means ruler or king. Who we talking about here? David, emperor of Upper and Greater Ethiopia. So that's in Africa, right? Upper and Lower. I showed you the map of that. And of the vastest realms and territories, King of Goa, we told you that's in India. And we've talked about that in other articles and documents that talked about the Israelites ruling parts of India. We got a historical connection there. Kaffa, Fatigal, Angat, Barut, many of these are in Ethiopia. Goime, we've seen that on the maps. That's in Africa. Where the sources of the Nile, Amara, which is Amharic or the Amara, right, in Ethiopia. Most of these places, Tigray in Ethiopia, right? And Nubia, we know where Nubia is. Now let's go back. Where is it? Okay. We'll pull this up. So divine favor, religious significance, the repeated references to being uniquely beloved by God, the pillar of faith, and connection to biblical figures like David, Solomon, and Jacob suggest a ruler who is seen as divinely favored and spiritually significant. So to me, when I read this, I believe we're talking about David. Now, could it be somebody else who's like in the role or seat of David? I don't know. It don't make sense if it was anybody but David, right? Because it says David, the supreme of my kingdom, uniquely beloved by God, the pillar of faith, born of the tribe of Judah, son of David, right? To me, give me a 1 if you think this is talking about David. Give me a 2 if you don't know. David, the supreme of my kingdom, uniquely beloved by God, the pillar of faith, born of the tribe of Judah, son of David, son of Solomon, son of the pillar of Zion, son of the seed of Jacob, son of the hand of Mary, son according to the flesh of Nahum, son according to the grace of St. Peter and Paul. Tell me if you think that's anybody but David. Emperor, can we say king or ruler of Upper and Greater Ethiopia? I showed you the map for it, right? And the vastest realms of the territories, right? Now, we were talking about that. So let's go back here. Okay, the text emphasizes a prestigious lineage tracing back through notable biblical figures, implying a divine right to rule and connection to a holy legacy. Can we say the Holy Land? Do you wonder why all our people was in Africa? Because that's the Holy Land. I keep telling y'all that. It's sub-Saharan Africa, all the way down. From the Niger River all the way to Ethiopia, where in parts of what we call Egypt, the Great River, the Egyptian River, the Nile River. The ruler declared as the emperor of Upper and Greater Ethiopia, indicating a vast empire. The mention of many regions, some of which are historical and have different modern names, suggests a wide-ranging dominion. See, a wide-ranging dominion. References to regions known for specific commodities like gold, ivory, sandalwood, and civet in the Nubian translation imply a rich and prosperous kingdom likely engaged in extensive trade. The inclusion of various regions from Ethiopia to Goa and Nubia reflects a culturally and geographically diverse empire. The mention of Nubia, which extends into Egypt and the Niger River, indicate a realm that spans significant parts of Egypt. Now, from the great river Euphrates to the Egyptian river or the Nile River, right? This says from Egypt to the Niger River. This is the territory given to our ancestors. From the Euphrates, the Ephra, the Alala River, which is over, which, like I say, I believe is the Niger River, all the way to East Africa. Indicates a realm that spans significant parts of Africa. The style of this description is typical of historical and royal chronicles, which often use hyperbolic language in connection to religious or mythological figures to elevate the status and perceived power of rulers. The text seems to be doing just that, presenting an idealized and possibly exaggerated view of a ruler's lineage, dominion, and religious significance. So it agrees that we're dealing with someone's dominion over Africa who's related to King David. I believe it's King David himself, right? Based upon what we're reading here. This is the vast territories that he ruled, emperor of Upper and Greater Ethiopia, and the rest of these territories, which is what? in Africa, right? So Upper and Lower Ethiopia, he was ruler of all of this, all the way down to South Africa, from the Niger River to the Egyptian Nile. Here's Fatigar over in Ethiopia or Abyssinia. Here's Angote over here in Ethiopia or Abyssinia. Here's Tigray over here in Ethiopia or Abyssinia, right? These are the territories according to that little corner over here that we talked about when we first started, right here, that he ruled over. That's what it said, right? Some of y'all, it ain't gonna be enough information, right? It don't matter. I know, I understand that. So we got all these places. Goime right here, right? Goime, right? This is in Africa, right? West Africa. This is the territory that he ruled. That's what it says. Mama ain't raised no fools. I can read. I can determine, and then ChatGPT said the same thing. This is his, whoever this person is, this is the territory he ruled. That's what it says. And as we read it, what does it say? It says King David, right? All in Africa, all the same territories I told you, right? From the Niger River all the way over here to Ethiopia, all the way to the Nile River, all of that is Israelite territory. This is the land of Israel, sub-Saharan Africa. This is the land of Israel, sub-Saharan Africa, Upper and Lower Ethiopia. The emperor of Upper and Greater Ethiopia. These are the realms that he ruled. The Niger River. I'm like, I don't need no more proof personally. Negro land, which is inclusive of this territory, Nubia, Guinea, Ethiopia. This is the land that was ruled by David, if you believe what that map said. Now, one thing that map has stated, I didn't pull it up. It said, where is it? Let me pull that up. Yeah, I'm trying to find it. I thought I had pulled it up. Yeah, it said that Nubia, a kingdom once Christian. It says Nubia, a kingdom once Christian, today practices almost no religion. The region is rich in gold and ivory, sacred sugar and grain are plentiful in Borno. The main city is Dangala, whose inhabitants are very wealthy and they trade with Egyptian merchants. There's a great abundance of sandalwood and civet. The houses are made of mud and covered with straw. Imagine Abiami at T.Baza. So it says that Nubia was a Christian nation. Now, all of this lines up with what we know about the scriptures. We know about Christianity, so-called Christianity, not modern Eurocentric stuff, began in Africa, right? And Nubia was a Christian nation, right? And this is the territory that, from what I believe, according to everything I've seen, is the nation of Israel, right? Upper and Lower Ethiopia, all the way down, is Israel, what we will call Israel, because this is where our people live. This is where our people live today, all the way down. Now, Jerusalem, as I stated, from my research is over here in Abyssinia, right? So this was Prester John. Supposedly Prester John was some leader of Africa. Now, nobody can really validate who Prester John is. They say he was like some Christian leader or something, but nobody could validate that. So, some people will make the case that, or try to make the case that this is talking about Prester John. Right now, whether or not you believe that's talking about Prester John, it's giving the territory here of King David. David, the supreme of my kingdoms, uniquely beloved by God, the pillar of faith, born of the tribe of Judah, son of David, so forth. So I make the case that this is the territory ruled by King David, because nobody has validated Prester John. So they'll try to make the case that that's Prester John because it's a Prester John map. But if you do the research, no one has validated Prester John ever being legit. So that's my case, family. Just sharing it with y'all. I personally believe there's more evidence that proves my case, right? That sub-Saharan Africa is Israel. That what we call Lalibela up there by Yeha is where Jerusalem is, the real Jerusalem. And guess what? It all fits. It all fits together. And, if you go with the interpretation like I have, that the Alala River is the River Niger, at the very least, even if you don't agree that it's the Niger River, it's over there, according to the documentation, on the slave coast by Little Popo over by Port Novo, which is where Togo is. At the very least, that's where the river is. That was called Euphrates in Africa. I'm like, I don't know how many times I got to repeat myself that the Euphrates that you all believe over there in the Middle East ain't it. That ain't it. So that's all I got, family. Just wanted to share this with y'all. I think it's good information. And when you add it to everything that has already been done, if you like this video, you can give it a like. You can share this video. And also, you could give us a cash app if you want. $TOTW 7101. You can also become a patron. And you can also go ahead over to buygiftgivingforall.com and buy a shirt or two. So I'm tired. I'm going to take a nap. Love y'all, family, and please support the Dry Bones Project.